another vlog. I hope you are all well. Today I am out with my mum. We've come to the Cotswolds, driven a bit north of Bath, and we're planning to just have a nice relaxing day, walking around the countryside a bit, discovering some villages in the Cotswolds, and going out for lunch as well. So it's going to be a nice mother-daughter day, and obviously I'm going to take you along with me, show you this beautiful part of England, because honestly I think the Cotswolds, in my opinion, is the prettiest part of England. The cottages here and like the houses, the architecture is so beautiful. There's so much historic architecture, which is what I'm most passionate about, and the countryside, the rolling hills, the sheep with lots of lambs at this time of year, which hopefully I can catch some lambs on camera for you guys to see, because recently I've been seeing loads of them around in the fields. And just in general, yes, have a lovely peaceful day, and I hope that you enjoy coming along with me. It's really cold at the moment because there are daffodils out and snowdrops and things. There are some signs of spring, but for example, looking at the temperature now on the screen of the car, it says it's 4 degrees outside, which is like winter, and I've got, you know, a big jumper, and I've got a big puffy jacket as well, which I'll be putting on to go out because it's so cold. And it's like, I'm in denial because in my heart I'm like, I want it to be spring, but it's just not, and I've got to accept that. But still, it'll be nice to walk around and get some fresh air and just clear my mind. So without further ado, let's go. Our first stop is the village of Stanton, and we've just looked around the village church, and it's so beautiful. It's such a small church, like obviously a very small parish church where all the locals come, but it's so ornate and beautifully done inside. The architecture's beautiful, and yeah, we're just having a little wander around, and I can hear sheep baaing in the background. I don't know if you can hear them on the camera, but I just can hear them as I'm walking around, and there's a smell of a wood burner, like wood burning, and it's so nice and cozy, which again shows how cold it is in England. However, the smell is just amazing. I love the smell. And at the sides of the church by the walls, there's so many primroses, because obviously spring primroses. I'll show you. They're so beautiful all along the sides of the walls and just scattered around. They just add a pop of yellow, and it's so beautiful to see. And then now at the edge of the churchyard there's this really narrow lane, which I'm going to walk down now, and I don't know if you can see how narrow it is on the camera, but I mean my shoulders aren't quite brushing the walls, but I get that feeling as I'm walking down it. And I don't know if you know, but lots of the Cotswolds villages have really narrow lanes going between stone walls like this, and it's because, well, they're known as wool towns because they made their money in the medieval times through the wool trade, and these were designed for shepherds to guide their sheep down, so the really narrow lanes were like paths for them to get to the markets, to sell their sheep and the wool and everything. So that's why lots of them have these, and that's why the Cotswolds villages are so well preserved, because they made their money during the medieval times through the trade of wool, but then imports meant that the wool trade declined, so all of the big manor houses and beautiful chapels and villages just became frozen in time, and that's why they're so beautiful today, because they didn't have the money to change them as trends changed over the centuries, so they're just as they were before, and that's why I love them. But yeah, this is one of the remnants of history, which is really cool. And yes, at the other end, I don't know what there is, it looks like some sort of gate, but we'll find out in a second. I can smell a farm smell, so we'll see what there is. Yeah, fields. And as I was saying that I hope I would find, there are lambs. I could smell them from far away, so I knew there'd be some sort of farm animal. But can you see the little lambs? They're so cute. Oh, Okay, now I'm happy because that was one of my goals today, to find lambs, and I did. So, mission accomplished. This bush with the most beautiful red flowers on it, but I have no clue what they are. I'll show you closer what they look like, because maybe someone will know what they are and be able to tell me, because these are just so beautiful. They look almost, well, there's some sort of dried berry things, so oops, it must be a plant that has fruit, but obviously they've dried out. But the flowers are so beautiful. Anyone knows what this is, please comment it down below, because this is such a beautiful bush. Yeah, I'm really interested to know what it is, so hopefully someone can help me. So after leaving Stanton, my mum and I went to a pub. We were on the way to driving to Stow-on-the-Wold, which is another village that I've just arrived to, but we were hungry, it was lunchtime, and we passed this really cute pub called the Plough Inn. It didn't look like much from the outside, but it was a really cute old building, so we were like, let's just stop and see what it's like. We walked in, and it was so beautiful. The decorations were so rustic, and because it's right next to Cheltenham and all of the horse race courses, they had lots of photos and art, and like china with horse racing themes on them, and like game and like ploughing equipment and things. It was decorated so beautifully, and the food was so good. I'll put a link down below or something to the pub, so that if anyone's in the Cotswolds and wants to go to a really high quality, like traditional English pub, then I would definitely recommend this one. It's one of the best ones I've been to. So it was really nice to eat there. I had it was local pheasant wrapped in bacon with cranberry sauce and gravy, mashed potatoes, mixed roast veggies, and red cabbage and game chips. So very big portions, but it's really good. And my mum had a game casserole with like local wild meats, so very good food. And yes, hopefully I can go back again because I want to try other things from the menu. It was so good, and it was nice because they had a fireplace with a wood burner, and there was a fire in it, so it was just so cozy to sit there. And now I'm in Stow-on-the-Wold, which is another really nice village. This one's a bit bigger, so rather than just houses, it's got a whole high street with lots of shops and things, and I'll be walking around here. They have some really good antique shops and like homeware shops, lots of different things. And yes, I'm going to head out now and explore a little bit, and I can't wait to show it to you.
Wish that I could stay, wish for this moment to never go away. But it's all in my mind, and though I know that there is nothing to find, you're a beautiful sight in the summer night, and you can't put up a fight in the misty light. While you roam in the streets all alone, and all you can see, thinking about what your life came to be. You're a beautiful sight in the summer night, and and you can't put up a fight in the misty light.
So on the way home, I've just stopped off at the village of Yanworth for a country walk because this village has such beautiful country views, and it's so peaceful because it's very tiny. There's just a few houses here, so there's never any tourists. It's basically empty. Occasionally you cross one person walking their dog, but it's just so peaceful, some nice fresh air and beautiful views. So that's how I'm ending the day before heading home. Hi, so it's the next day, I'm back home and I had a really good time exploring Stow-on-the-Wold because it's a really nice town, and like I said, there's a lot to do there. I hope you enjoyed wandering around some of the antiques shops and just the high street and seeing what the town is like. There's also a really lovely church with the doorway between two trees, and it's like something out of, I don't know, a fantasy novel or something because it's so otherworldly to see it. It looks like fairies should be living there or something. It's really pretty. But I thought I'd show you some of the things I got because obviously I couldn't go and not pick up some books because if you know me, I just am obsessed with books. So the first book that I picked up is a French book, and this one's a really famous French book by Jules Verne called Le Tour du Monde en 80 jours, which means like touring the world in 80 days. And this is one that's really famous and I've been meaning to read it for a while, but I haven't got a copy of it. And this one is really beautiful because it's an edition from 1917. And I love it because in the front it's got a little kind of like, I don't know what you call it, certificate thing from the National Society of Teachers of French in England. And it's from 1927 and it's got information about a girl who won a French prize for like intermediate French in 1927. I just think it's so cute. I love things like this when you have little notes in the front of books. So yes, Elizabeth Gaffney from Westgate-on-Sea apparently won this in 1927, so I just think that's really cool. But it's a really beautiful edition because it's got really lovely illustrations and I don't know, I just love it. So I've been wanting this book anyway because I want to read well-known French books. It's a really beautiful edition, so I'm very happy with finding that. And then the next one that I got is not necessarily like an antique, but it's called A Bouquet of Flowers. And it's lovely because it's got, well, it says sweet thoughts, recipes and gifts from the garden. And I love it because, I mean, even the front cover is beautiful with the kind of marbling effect, but it's got really beautiful illustrations and it's got like quotes, recipes, all sorts of things about flowers, poetry. I just really like it. So even here, you know, the picture of flowers, and then like this little illustration of a garden. And then here, for example, there's a recipe for candied violets and roses. There are quotes by different writers and poets and sweet dream sachets. And I love this picture as well. It's very Jane Austen-esque. But I just really like this book because this is exactly the kind of thing I love. Flowers, art, quotes. This has a recipe for fresh herb ice cubes. There's all sorts of things in here. Scented note papers. I just find it really sweet, and I love books with illustrations in because I use it as inspiration for when I paint or draw. Like I'll try to copy them or use them as references, so this is good for that. And also just for inspiration for quotes, summer flower salads. You know, it's just one of those books that I love. I'm very happy with this find. And yes, I just think it's very beautiful. And then the last book that I got is this one called Gardens of England, which is another kind of reference book. It'll be interesting to read through it as well because it's got thoughts on gardening, different things about flowers to grow in England and whatnot. But it's mainly the paintings that I was drawn to because there's so many beautiful paintings in this book. And like I said, I love it as inspiration for art. So it's hard to find the pages because in old books they often have like a piece of card with the picture on and then a little really thin piece of paper so as not to damage the print. So it's hard to find them, but that's another one. It's just really beautiful paintings in here, and obviously the front cover is beautiful as well. So I have 3 books to add to my growing library. And then I got something else which is more decorative homeware. And it's basically a little trinket box. And I have a little collection of these. I mean, a little collection, I have 2. But I think it's so beautiful because I love this kind of detailing around the sides. And, okay, this is not going to come as a surprise to anyone who has been watching my channel for a while, but there's a beautiful picture of the Eiffel Tower, and I don't know if you can see the detailing, but there's pieces of shiny stone embedded in the front. I don't know if it picks up on the camera, but it's really beautiful. And the inside is lined with fabric, and it's got like little birds and flowers on the sides, and it's like a very vintage, I guess, for tourists. I don't know when this is when this box was made, but long ago when people used to go to Paris, this is the kind of things they would have as a souvenir. And it's a shame souvenirs aren't of this quality anymore, but if anyone knows me, you know that I'm obsessed with Paris, and I have been since my exchange there. I keep going back all the time, and yes, I just saw this and really loved it, and it reminds me of my time there, and it's just really pretty, the style that I like. And like I said, I have two more boxes that are a bit like this, kind of gold themed, and I think having them together on like a dressing table, or I have them on the mantelpiece at the moment, it's got quite a nice effect. It's a little collection. And then in here I keep like jewellery or brooches, or I don't know, just little bits and bobs, so it keeps surfaces tidier, and it's just really beautiful. So I'm very happy with these finds, my little haul from yesterday. And I hope you enjoyed exploring some idyllic English villages with me. It's one of my favourite things to do in the weekend, and I had a really good time. And if you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel to join me on more adventures, and I will see you next time. Bye!